Hey there, it's Kathy Howes with Be Creative with Kathy. I'm hoping today's video works. I have a lot of fears for today's video. I have a cute paper pumpkin cherry. Sometimes paper pumpkin comes and I just make them like they come in the box, and other times I come up with alternatives. This time I have some cute, very simple alternatives, not too drastic compared to what the kit called for, and I really want to share them for you, but they're doing construction in the basement. I haven't been doing videos because they've been so loud. Today they're not quite as loud as normal. I'm hoping you can hear me and not hear them, and that I can make it through 4 cards. I don't think I've ever done 4 cards on a video, and if you know me, I get nervous, I rush, and then I step ahead. But let's see what happens. So we're gonna try, or I'm gonna try, and you're gonna be patient with me. Might be a little bit longer video than normal, but I'll show you the 4 cards that I made with the 3 cards of the kit for the paper pumpkin. Now let me show you what came in January's kit. It's called Hearts for You, January 2025, if you're looking. Now, everything usually comes in the little package like this. I saved this to show you because if you don't have a Pierce mat or something that gives it a little extra cushion for your stamp set, this piece of chipboard in here works really well. So hang on to that if you need it. I am going to use my Pierce mat when I need it. We'll see. Then you have your instructions here. This is what the cards in the kit look like. Like I said, mine would be really close to this, but I'll give you a few tips and ideas here and there. And then we get our stamp set. Now I've taken my stamp set. It usually comes with this piece of paper separate. I just take some glue dots and glue my stamp set to that paper so that I can see better and probably keep track of it better. But then I do also print out this sheet. Now you can go to paperpumpkin.com and print out, this is called the case liner, I think, and then I use this so then that way you can really see what's on that stamp set says. And then I'll show you how I store stuff, or at least store my paper pumpkins later. Okay, so then you get an ink spot. Now I probably won't be using the little ink spot. I'm going to be using my standard ink pads, plus I'll use a couple other colors for my alternatives, but you get an ink spot in there. You also get a block in your first paper pumpkin kit. You get a block that you'll use again and again and again. Adhesive, we got Stampin' Dimensionals and glue dots and extra glue dots, which I'm not sure, but I'll be using my snail adhesive and some mini glue dots, or mini dimensionals, and Stampin' Dimensionals, paper pumpkin dimensionals. I'll be using a bunch. And then of course you get your little bling in there, which are really cute little hearts. We'll be using those too. You got some real red baker's twine. Here's the labels. In fact, as we go, I have my cards laying over here. I'll start picking out stuff that we're gonna need. We're gonna need one of these labels. Now in your kit, it makes 3 cards, so really you have an extra label anyway, but we'll need one of those. This is like a card front. We'll need one of those. This is a card front. We'll need one of those. Now, I've used some of my kits, so some of the pieces are missing, but you get the idea, right? And these are stickers, and this is champagne foil, which is really pretty. Now, 9 of these stickers, it shows you here, are to seal your envelope, which I absolutely love a pretty envelope, so I'm going to save those, but we'll use some of the other stickers on here. I'm going to just keep out the whole sticker thing. Look at these die cuts in your kit. These really pretty hearts like this, we'll need one of those, and these are that champagne foil. We'll need one of those. I'm going to keep one of those out. And then here's some more die cuts, the big old hearts. We'll keep out the 2 of those that we need. Thank you. And then you have this sheet of die cuts too, which we'll need one of these labels. They're the littler labels. We'll need one of those. And we need 5 of these strips of hearts. So I probably should have done this before so you didn't have to watch me punch out hearts. And I'm going to be careful. They come out pretty easy, but I don't want to tear them. 1, there's 2, here's 3, and then we'll get out the second sheet of them. We need also this long label here. Keep that. And then what was I at? 3, so we need 2 more of these strips of hearts. And I think on the cards that they suggest you need 6 of them, but like I said, I'm only going to use 5. This video too, I should warn you, might be a little bit longer. Normally I try to get my videos done within 30 minutes. Usually that's all I can last on the video, but it might be a little bit longer. Anyway, okay, so back to the kit. Then you have card bases. They have this marble one. Now I've used half of one, I've cut it down. I'm gonna just use that one on my card and save this for another project. They have this card base, we're gonna need one of those. And then they have this card base here that really looks white, but if you look really close, maybe you can see there's some really, really faint hearts on there. We're gonna use one of those too. And then last, and certainly not least, like I talked about, look how pretty the envelopes are. Now, if you watch Paper Pumpkin alternatives from other demonstrators, they all cut the envelopes apart. I do not. I love mailing stuff out in a pretty envelope, so I'm gonna keep all of my envelopes as is and use them when I mail it out. So I'm going to set this aside just in case we need it for reference, but just so it's handy. I got my stamp sets here. We're going to start with the first card. In fact, I'm going to show you. We're going to start with a simple card, this one. Although, like I said, they're all simple. But let's jump in with that one. So we need that half. This is, well, almost half of that card base. I'm going to cut this down to be a layer on top of our card base. So I want to cut it down to 4 inches, and there's a seam here, or is a fold or score line here that I'm going to make sure I cut that off, and I'll show you on the other card base exactly how I start from the beginning to the end. Then I want this one to be 5 1/4. So that way, if you decide to start cutting your card bases into layers, you'll know how to do it. So I have that one. Then we need a thick, basic white card base. So I'm going to take, this is a full sheet, 8.5 by 11. The 8.5 side is up. I'm going to move out my cutting blade and only have my, oop, you can't see it. There it is, the scoring blade. Like I said, this is 8.5 at the top. I'm going to set it over here at 4 1/4, and then I'm going to score the whole 11 inches. Then I'm going to take that sheet and put the 11 inches at the top and cut it in half at 5 1/2 and cut, and now I have 2 basic white card bases. Okay, so let's set this aside. We're going to need one of those bases now. I've got a pile of stuff over here. I hope I can find everything when I need it. Okay, let's go ahead. I like to have the bump on the inside of the score line when I fold it over. Use a bone folder, get a nice crisp fold right here. And then just using my tape runner, I'm going to adhere this to the front of this, because now this is 4 by 5 1/4 in a perfect layer. So just take this like this and lay this right there on the front with 4 hopefully even, straight, nice borders like that. Okay, so the other part for the, or piece I should say, for this card is one of those card fronts that I showed you a minute ago that looks like this. And these have these little hearts. Where did it go? There it is, that you punch out. Now I'm going to save these. We're going to use these on the next card. Although you could use them as layers on this card, but I want them on the next card. Okay, we need our Pierce mat. We need to do some stamping on here. First, no, I'm going to trim it down first. Change my mind. This is why I get into trouble, because I change my mind. But I want this to be 3 3/4 by 5. So the bottom half of this, to me, has all this white down here. I'm going to cut all that off and put this at 3 3/4. Can't see again. There we go. 3 3/4. So just cut off a little bit. And then I want this to be 5, but I still want it to be centered. So I'm going to cut this at 5 1/4. No, do I want it 5 1/8 there. So I'm going to just cut off a little bit here. There we go. And then turn it around and cut it at 5. And then that way, by taking that 1/8 of an inch off both sides, it's still even or centered on there just the way I want it. Now we need the stamp on there. And it looks, nope, I thought I had ink on there, but it was just a little bit of paper scraps. Okay, put this in here. Where did my stamp set go? Right here. We're going to use this little heart of the stamp set here. Now I told you Paper Pumpkin comes with block, but I'm going to use all my blocks just so I have enough and I don't have to stop and clean and change blocks and stuff like that. I'm going to use my standard ink pad here. This is Real Red, and I'm going to just stamp a couple hearts on here. Now I'm going to stamp one down here. We might cover him up, but better to have him there than not. And then I'm going to stamp one over here. And this is just like what the kit said to do. I like their idea, so I stuck with it. And then we're going to stamp one right there. Okay, just like that. Now, if you want to, we need to stamp the inside of our card. Where did my card go here? And I'm looking at my sample here to see how I did that one. I'm going to take from the stamp set again, this You Have My Heart. That, and just load that up on a block. And I'm going to stamp that in Real Red. This, stamp that down right there. Cute, right? Love the font on that one. And then with this little heart that's kind of like an outline, it's a little bit bigger than the heart we already stamped with. I'm going to take that one, put it on a block. And this one I'm going to use Pretty in Pink. I think Pretty in Pink is a pretty pinky Valentine color. So I'm going to, almost stuck to my glass mat. I'm going to take that one and I'm going to just stamp it right over like that. Now, since it's lighter, it's You Have My Heart is still going to show through, but yet it brings those other colors to the inside. Although I think this is Flirty Flamingo, and maybe I should use Flirty Flamingo, but I use Pretty in Pink. Oh, we need to stamp one more thing on this card, and that's where that big label comes in. The first thing we took out of the kit, and it looks like this. Now, this is where I'm going to bring in some past Paper Pumpkin kits, because in the kit, and I think on the instructions, it says we're supposed to stamp You're My Favorite, and I really kind of had my grandkids in mind stamping these, and I don't want to stamp You're My Favorite. So I went back to 2024, not too long ago, but January's Paper Pumpkin, and this is how I store mine. I had to go to a 2-inch binder because Paper Pumpkin just keeps getting thicker and thicker. And I went back to January, oh, this is 2023. Whoop, I went back to January 2023. Is this the right one? Yep. To my Valentine. I love this stamp. So we're going to go ahead and use this stamp. This is Paper Pumpkin. It's a very nice way to store your stamps, I think. Grab that stamp that says To My Valentine. It's going to fit in there just right. Grab a block. Grab that Real Red ink. And I'm going to stamp this on my little label. I got to bring my label a little bit closer. And I'll try not to get my head in the camera, but there's never a guarantee. Oh, and I'm totally looking at my sample. That's not true. That's why I was confused. I don't want that stamp set. That stamp set doesn't fit in the label quite as nice as the stamp set. We're going to go back. Here we go. 2024. I should have doubted myself. Paper Pumpkin. This Paper Pumpkin says Happy Valentine's Day. Now this stamp fits really well in that label. So we're going to take this one. And did you notice when I said I store, I take that printout from the sheet from the paperpumpkin.com. I fold it in half and put it into a sheet protector so I can see all the stamps I have from Paper Pumpkin. Look at all these stamps. I've been a subscriber since March of like 2013, so I have tons of stamp sets, and then I just take the stamp set, slip it in there, and that way I can find it, I can see it, blah, blah, blah. That's how I store my Paper Pumpkin stamps. Okay, back to work. Now I lost my label. Did it stick to my notebook? It sure did. It's over here on the floor. Let's get that label back. Okay, found it. Get that Real Red ink back in here. Grab our stamp that says Happy Valentine's Day. This might be one of my favorite Valentine stamps of all time of Paper Pumpkin. And we've gotten a lot of really nice ones from Paper Pumpkin over the years. Okay, Happy Valentine's Day. We're going to ink that up. Now I'm going to try not to get my head in the camera now that I have the right stamp. We're going to just center that there. let that ink sink into the paper. There we go. And now I have a nice Happy Valentine's Day label ready to go. Okay, let's assemble the card finally. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this card base here and that Real Red Baker's twine. Now, I don't remember how much they said that we need to tie around here, but I'm going to just take it, leave it on the spool. That way you have very little waste. And I'm going to just tie a bow right here around this card base. So I'm going to use my reversible tweezers here to be my third finger and just take and tie a cute little bow on there like that. There we go. Then I can take my paper snips that I have saved. Here they go, with a ribbon, so I know they're only for ribbon, and that way they'll have no trouble cutting through that baker's twine. Get rid of my tweezers here. I'm going to get my knots so they're not twisted, about the size that I want them, and then just pull that tight. And now we have a cute little bow. Maybe a little bit too big. Can you ever have a bow too big? Maybe. I'll trim him down, make him about that size. There we go. Then I'm going to kind of just move him up a little bit, the baker's twine that is, about to where I want it. There. And then I'm going to put this about here. So I think that knot looks good, or the bow looks good just where it is. Let's turn this over and take the dimensionals from the kit and add some to the back. The cool thing about this pack of Paper Pumpkin dimensionals is they're a little bit smaller than Stampin' Up! Standard dimensionals, and I'll show you on the next card how that comes in handy. Okay, well, I'm going to go overboard. We have a ton of dimensionals. I might as well use them all up, right? Then I got to take all those backs off. Oh, I should have one more right there. There we go. Okay. Now, if you ever get a paper pumpkin and you want to make more of them, usually Stampin' Up! Has refills available. So you can get a refill and use all of the inks and the stamp sets on the refills. Now, if you're interested in the refill, they usually come out about the 20th. I would make sure you check on that as soon as you can, because sometimes those refills sell out really fast. But if I wanted to make more cards, I could just get a refill from Stampin' Up! When those come available. Usually, like I said, about the 20th. Okay, now we're going to take and put our little tag right here. I'm going to use those littler dimensionals that come in the kit and just place them at the top and the bottom of my tag. So that way the string should run through the center. And because I put those dimensionals on, I can even move this up. Is it straight? Okay, so far I'm doing okay. I haven't flipped out and lost control, and we've only made one card. We'll see if I can make it through 4. Keep trying. Alrighty, this we're going to just set right here. So it looks something like that. And I think that looks pretty good. Then we're going to take those stickers that are the champagne, and you have a little outline heart that looks like that. We're going to just place it right here. And then one of these, the smaller, these are the ones, these that have 9 of them are for the envelope. So I'm going to take a little bit smaller heart here, and I'm going to just fill in the gap here. And then out of our die cuts, there should be that heart that has, here he is, that looks like this. We're going to just put some dimensionals on the back of him and finish the card just like that. So the only really alternative with this card that I did was I changed the stamp set, or at least the stamp, and I cut down the card base so that now it's thick basic white and it's just a little bit stronger card base. I am kind of a card snob. I think that one's going to look good. I'm going to go over right there. We have to fix our bow So anyway, I'm kind of a cardstock snob, so I like a little bit thicker card base than what the paper pumpkin comes with. But there you go. So there's the first one. And I'm going to wait till the end and then put the embellishments on all the cards at one time. So we're just going to set him aside and we're going to go to card number 2. Now the second card that we're going to make is this one right here. Although I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to bring in my Pierce mat here. I need to bring in my chamois because I'm going to wash that little heart so that I can use it in a different color. We're going to use it in some of that petal or pretty in pink. So make sure that's clean. I need some scrap paper just in case I go outside the lines I don't want to stamp onto my Pierce mat. And those 5 little strips of hearts. So let's see if I have all 5 of them, because I want to add a little bit of color to my hearts. And now the white on the green, I can see it pretty good. So bring in that pretty in pink. Excuse me. And now I want them all to kind of stagger, but I'm not very good at doing that. So what I decided to do is I'm going to take, oh, by the way, this little heart matches this little heart just right. Now I might get my head in the camera, but I'm going to line those up and I'm going to stamp the first one right there. Ooh, I did pretty good. And then I'm going to skip 3 and I'm going to stamp again on the first one. So it looks like that, right? Then I skip the 3. On the second one, I'm going to skip the first one. I'm going to stamp on the second one. I'm going to skip those 3 and then I'm going to stamp here. Like that. Oops, I didn't do quite as good on that one, but it's still going to be okay. If that bothers you, you could take a marker, you could take a Stampin' Blend, and you could color these. I'm a fast stamper. I'm okay with the way it's turning out. Now this time, I'm going to skip 2. I'm going to stamp on the third heart here. And then I'm going to skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and stamp on the second to the last, like that. Okay, we're almost done. Now this one, yep, we got to make sure I got the good side and the bad side. This one I'm going to actually skip 3, stamp there, skip 3, and stamp there. So now they're starting, you can see how they're really starting to get, so they're not like in a row. This is upside down. This is the bad side. There, this is the good side. Now on this one, we have to go back up to the first because we have no more to skip. So I'm going to go the first one, skip 3, stamp this one, and I'm good. Okay, then just to add a little bit of bling to our hearts, I'm going to bring in Wink of Stella and I'm going to color those little hearts that I've stamped on. That just gives them a little bit extra. And Wink of Stella, you can never go wrong, right, with Wink of Stella. Okay, looky here. Doesn't take long, just a little bit, but yet it adds, I think it adds a lot to the card, to the finished card, when you have that little bit of Wink of Stella on there. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the stamping for this card, which isn't much. I'm going to stamp the inside. Take my other white card base here, put that bump on the inside and fold it over on that score line. And I'm going to stamp the inside the same way I did the first card that we made. So with that real red ink, and that you have my heart, I'm going to just take it here, stamp it down, just like that. Such pretty font. Every time I stamp it, I think, ooh, that's pretty. Okay, bring in that petal pink. Nope, pretty in pink. This is pretty in pink. And then just stamp that right over there. And there we have the inside done. We have our hearts done. We need to stamp one more thing. So on those little die cut banners, the smaller one, looks like this. I'm going to stamp you. So I keep putting my stamp set away Now I can't find, here it is. In the stamp set, you have this little U. So I'm going to put that on a block, and I'm going to stamp that in real red. And I want my banner to be facing so the points go this way. Ink that up good. See if I can get it straight without getting my head in the camera. Stamp that down. Not bad. Okay, so now let's assemble this card. But first, we need a card, like a layer onto our card front. We have our basic white. We need a layer on top of there. So with this card base, which really in the directions is shown for this one, but I'm going to cut it down so we'll have plenty left over. We can use it on 2 cards. That's what we're going to do. So as promised, since it's this is 5.5 by 8.5, and you can tell it's scored down here at 4 1/4. I want this to cut down to 5 1/4. Just your basic layer on your card. Cut that off. Now you could save this. Look how pretty that would be as a layer inside your card or something. I'm not going to take the time to do that today. And then this is the score line. I'm going to make sure I cut that off. So at 4 inches, I'm going to cut, and now we have our layer for our card base here. Let's go ahead and put that on the front of our card. Now here, if you don't have a tape runner, you could use those glue dots that came in the kit to put this onto your card front, but I suggest you get a tape runner. It just makes life a little easier. Let's center that right there. Now we have to put these little hearts. Let me get the bone folder and try to get it so it lays a little flatter here. There we go. Now we have to lay our hearts onto here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of mix them up from the order that we stamped them in and make sure that they are different. Maybe put this one here. There, doesn't that look pretty random? We want them pretty random, although I think I want this one here more like that. Yes, I like that randomness better. Okay, there's another part that's kind of tedious. Now we need to put dimensionals on the backs of these pieces here. And I'll show you, I'm going to put dimensionals on the 2 end pieces so we know that they'll stay put. And then I'm going to skip one and here. Now in the center of these hearts, we usually have decorations or other pieces. So it's less important, I guess. We need to put a dimensional here on the ends. Whoop. There we go. This card might be the most time consuming. Well, we'll see if this card's the most time consuming. And I'm trying to keep them in order so I know when I put them back on the card, I don't have to flip through them and try to decide where they go again. Skip one here and one on the end. This is where I was telling you how the dimensionals are a little bit smaller than our standard dimensionals, and that's so they fit on these hearts really nicely. Okay, busting along here. And let me see if I'm in camera. I am in camera. I'm all good. Okay. And then the last one, same way. Got my dimensionals on there. And one more here. Then when I go to put them onto my card, I'm going to start in the center, which is this one here. And I'm only going to take dimensionals off the end two, these two down here. Right? And then I'm going to lay that, and so it looks about in the center. Now I'm not going to apply pressure. I'm just going to kind of lay it down. See if it's straight. And then let's put the other ones on the same way, only taking off dimensionals on the ends. That way it won't stick to the whole card, and if I need to move them around, it's just a little bit easier. I want to try to get them straight here before I press them down. See, already I can tell you they might be too high, and I might have to move that center one down. Yeah, I am going to have to move them down a little bit. Maybe I should have started at the bottom and worked my way up. Nope. Look, we're just going to have to move this one down a little bit and this one down. Let go. Thank you. So it looks like that. Now, do they look straight? I think they look pretty good. So I'm going to apply pressure and stick those dimensionals down because now I know it's going to stay. And then I can just take the dimensionals off this side. And that's an easy way to get them where you want them and get them straight. I think hopefully that's a helpful little tip that might help you with all your card making and paper crafting. This one doesn't look straight, but we'll see if I moved him. Nope, well, yeah, we're gonna have to fix him. There, does that look straight? Not bad. For on camera and that you can't really see straight from the top, it's pretty good. We're just gonna go with what you get. There we go. And then the last two. I think the only one that's really bad is that front one or that middle one. But other than that, yeah, let's fix him. Let's see if we can get him off. And just move him around until he looks there. Good enough. It's got a little bit of a more gap here, but we're going to cover stuff like that up anyway with hearts and stuff like that. Maybe we won't notice when the card's all done. So let's bring in those other pieces. This one, we need this big heart, and we need this big heart. We're going to need the stickers like this, and then we need that baker's twine again. So let's start first of all by just attaching this heart to the other heart. They layer nicely together. A little bit adhesive on the back. Lay that right here. Look how pretty those two layer together. Like that. And then I'm going to lay this on my card here so I can see, hopefully, that I have room between. We're going to need dimensional here and a dimensional here because that's about where that is. And then maybe just one here and here, and that's going to hold our heart on so it's flat with the others. Could move that one over a little bit, but I think it looks okay. We'll see if we see it when we put our cardstock down, or our hearts down. And those can go whoop right here. And now I think you can't see as much the middle part that wasn't so good. Okay, with our little love sticker here, I'm going to peel it off carefully. Try to keep it in the shape that it needs to be in and get all those little pieces out. There we go. I'm going to lay this so it's right about there. Now we have our love, and then we'll put our little, let's tie a bow first, and we'll add the bow and then the banner. So just a little simple bow here. Whoops, I missed the other tail. I don't know where he went, but he didn't make it through his loop. Pull that a little bit shorter. That looks good. We'll just chop off those little ends. There we go. And then with the glue dot, now you could use the glue dots that are in the kit. I'm going to use what's on the roll just because I'm having trouble finding stuff as it is, and I know where these glue dots are. I'm going to kind of fold it in half, and I'm going to set it about here. I think this is about, if not, I'll move it around, put my little bow on there, like that. This is going to go up on dimensionals. So I'm going to put a dimensional here, and let's see, yep, and then it's going to have a dimensional right on this heart here, kind of toward the top like this. Hopefully I put that dimensional in the right place. Yep, and we covered the dimensional. I'm going to kind of take my little bow here and move it over so it's tucked under, there we go, under my tag. Get that glue dot so it's underneath the tag, and like that. And there you go. But remember now, I told you to hang on to these little hearts. These little hearts stack really nice on these. So just to give it a little bit more dimension, I guess, I'm going to just take and I'm going to put a little dip of glue here, a little bit of glue here, and a little bit of glue on this one. And then I'm gonna add these little hearts to layer just flat right on that heart. Might as well use them if we got them. This one on here. And this one on here. And that gives it just another little layer that adds to the card. So look how cute. I'll hold it up so you can see it, how those little layers are there on there. And can you see the glimmer on the hearts? It just adds a little bit more. So there we go. Finally, done with card 2. Again, I'm gonna add all the embellishments at the end to all the cards, so I'm gonna set that one aside. And let's go to card 3, which is probably the most simple. Now, first thing we need to do is take this half of the other card base, and I'm gonna cut it down. It's already 5 1/4 because we cut the whole thing at 5 1/4. I just need to be this at 4, and I'm gonna cut off that score line so we don't have that on our card front. Looks like that. Oop. I have another basic white, thick basic white card base here. So we'll take that, we'll fold it in half on that score line. Go. Add this just with some tape runner. And put that right here. There we go. Bring in the other pieces. Oh, before though, I'm going to do the same thing to the inside. Tends to work for me and I really like it, so I'm going to bring in that heart belongs to you. Stamp that down. Bring in that outline heart and the pretty and pink ink. Stamp that down right on top. There we go. Now, while we have our inks out, although I already put the red away, I'm going to bring that one back in. We need to stamp a greeting. And that first greeting that I got from the Paper Pumpkin 2020, oh well, we have to go back and look which one it was. I'm going to use that on this little skinny banner here, and it fits on there, so it works. So let's put this banner here, ink up that "To My Valentine," and stamp that down right there. Hopefully, I didn't get my head in the camera. And it looks like that. Look how well that fits on there. I do love using my past Paper Pumpkin stamp sets. There we go. Let's see what else we need for this card. So we need this card front here, and one of those, did I take it off? I'm sure I did. Maybe. Looking through my little pieces here, we already used that. Maybe I didn't cut it out. Let me go back to the box and see. I thought for sure. There it is. Then I can't find my box. I got too much stuff on my desk. Going back to the box, I thought I cut the little champagne heart out. Let's see. Well, I must have, because there's only one left, but we'll find him later, and I'll use this one now. We need this little champagne heart here. There we go. And again, so those little dimensionals that came in the kit should fit on here. So let's add dimensionals as best we can. So here's a heart that's pretty big. We'll put one there. Can we see him? No, we can't. Yay! And then we'll put one here. And then we'll put one, whoop, I got two. We'll put one here. And maybe one will fit right there. Let's try there. And turn it over. Do we see them? Yep, we see this one. This one has to go. Instead, let's cut one in half and put a half of one there. I think I'm going to take this one off too, just in case. There we go. And we'll cut them in half. Let's cut a half a dimensional. There, now we won't see them. Let's see, while we're doing it though, we might as well keep going now, because now we got half dimensionals going. Let's set one here. And then I'm going to take just a section of a dimensional like this and put one up here, so that way the top has just a little bit of support too. And we're going to try to peel those off. Oh, it's already gone. Trying to peel off something that's not there. Those little dimensionals off, and now we'll take and put this right on top of this heart here. So it looks like that. Isn't that pretty? Beautiful. Then we'll take this, I'm going to put this on dimensionals. Here we go. And then we have this just centered right here. That takes some dimensionals on the back on both sides, not in the middle, because we're going to lay this over that heart, and we don't want a dimensional bump in the middle, so we're going to just put dimensionals on the two ends and lay this right about there. Does that look straight? Nope. Better? It's crooked now though, it's not even centered. Let's try to get it centered. There we go. Now I'm happy. Okay, so let's go ahead with these three cards and go ahead and put the embellishments on. We're not going to put embellishments on the fourth card, but on the fourth card, so we can just embellish these three. Now I have to tell you, usually Stampin' Up! Is very generous with their embellishments. This month they were not. So we have to, well, they are generous, but we're going to use most of them on the cards we make. So we're going to just pop one here. And aren't they cute, those little hearts? Love them. Probably because I wanted a whole sheet of them. If Stampin' Up! Sold them in individuals, I would totally buy a whole pack of these little hearts. Look, now I'm all fingers and thumbs trying to get it the way I want it. There we go. So there's the first card's got it hearts on there. This card, believe it or not, Stampin' Up! Didn't include hearts for them, so I'm going to wait and see if I have extras before I put it on there. And then this card, let's see where I put. So this one, I'm going to actually take and put one here next to my greeting. One up here on that heart. And then one here, and maybe one right there. And there we go. But that's only 4. You can't have 4. We have to have 5 on a card. So I'm going to take and put another one right there. So there you go. So there's the 3 cards that Stampin' Up! Suggested that you make. And I hope I was in camera. I hope I didn't go too slow. I hope I didn't bore you. Hope I didn't go too fast and you could keep up. But then I was thinking of my grandson, because I have 3 granddaughters and 1 grandson. And I thought, well, he's young. He's only about 3. I can't picture sending any of these cards to my grandson. So let me show you what I came up with for my 4th card. On the 4th card, we're going to use that card base, remember, that has this really light pink hearts on there. We haven't used this card base at all. So we're going to use that one. And the first thing we're going to do is cut it down to size. So we're going to take my paper trimmer, and the first thing I'm going to do is, I don't think it matters where the hearts are. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to just cut it down to 5 1/4, so it might not be centered there. And then on each side, because there's that score line there, I'm going to cut 4 inches off of this side. Now we have a plain white that's going to be the inside of our card. And then I'm going to turn it around so the score line's over here, and I'm going to cut it off. And then I have a layer 4 by 5 1/4 of this side. Okay, and a nice card front, nice inside. And then, believe it or not, I'm going to bring in some boho blue, and this is my card base, is boho blue, the same 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 I've scored it at 4 1/4, and we're gonna have that as our card base. There we go. Let's go ahead and take the one that has those really faint little hearts on there and put that on the front. Make sure my hearts, they're so hard to see. Make sure they're not upside down. Well, that'd be awful, wouldn't it? But that'd be very Kathy for do something like that. Alrighty, there we go. So now we have our card base ready to go. I'm looking for my sample card here so I can make it the same. And do you think I could find it? No, here it is. Okay. Oh, I remember now. So Paper Pumpkin also has a product that are add-ons to Paper Pumpkin and their little dies. Now this is how I keep mine in a notebook. They usually go with 3 months. So this is January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. And this one is for January, February, and March of 2025. And this great big heart die right here, we're going to use this on this card. It makes a really, really pretty heart. It's big and bold and has like an outline, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So let me have a scrap here of boho blue and bring in my cutting pads for my mini machine. I think this will fit on my mini machine. I like to stagger my plates like this. It's just a little easier when it goes through the machine. Got my paper, got my heart, got my top plate. Where's my machine? Here we go. And we'll just run him through real quick and cut out that heart. And let me show you how pretty it is. It's pretty big. It's going to cover most of the card front here. But I absolutely love this die, which happens to coordinate with the stamp and the kit. There we go. Just a little toss there to get that out of there. Let me put it back in my book so I don't lose it. Where was it? Right here. I'm going to just throw it back in there. Okay, here we go. So now I have one in boho blue, right? And I already cut one in petal pink, so you don't have to watch me do that. There we go. Now for my grandson, I wanted something a little bit younger stamp set wise, so I went to Paper Pumpkin. I went all the way back to 2021, and this stamp set looks like this, which I think is really cute for a little boy. So we're going to use that stamp set on this card. Hi, Lena. And we're going to use this little snail here. We're going to use this stamp set that says Hi Valentine. And on the inside, we're going to stamp, oh, it's on a different stamp set. It must be this one. Yeah, this says Just a Little Something for You. We're going to put that on the inside. This was back from the other stamps, 2023 or 2024, I can't remember. But there's our little, oh, and no more. We need one more from that stamp set that now I've set aside. How can you lose something that fast? There it is, the little X's and O's. We're going to use that stamp set too. Okay, we're going to, or that stamp. We're going to start with the little X's and O's. And I haven't run out of blocks yet, so we're doing pretty good. We're going to put the little snail on here. Got a little block for the Hi Valentine. Put that on there. And then a little block for the Just Something for You. Okay, bring back in my Pierce mat and that paper, the scratch paper. On this little heart here, this is Petal Pink. I'm going to use Petal Pink ink and just stamp those X's and O's randomly on that little heart like this. It's going to be really faint. You might not even see it, but it's going to add, well, you won't see it on camera, but you can definitely see it on the card here. And it's just going to add that little texture, more dimension to the card, so it looks like that, the little X's and O's. Okay, then and I forgot one color. Let me grab the color here. We need some basic or Memento black ink, because I'm going to color really quick with my Stampin' Blends. I'm going to stamp down that little snail that has the cute little heart on there, like that. I love this stamp set too. This is the one that keeps going. And then with Boho Blue, I want to stamp that little High Valentine, and I'm going to just stamp it down here at the bottom because I'm going to just cut that out. Hopefully the size. Try to get it. My head's going to get in the camera this time for sure. There we go. Stamp that at the bottom. Okay, let's hurry and color our little snail because we're using Petal Pink and Boho Blue on our colors. That's the same kind of Stampin' Blends I'm going to use. I'm going to color his shell in the light. And I like to practice here once first just to make sure that the alcohol isn't like, it's not too wet. Sometimes when you first open a Stampin' Blend, you get that little puddle of alcohol. So I always like to practice or set it down on a piece of paper first. So there's the light Boho Blue. And the dark, I'm even going to use the paintbrush tip. I'm going to just come in and make this right here look like a heart. So it looks like that. And then with some dark Petal Pink, I'm going to just color my little guy here. Nothing fancy. It's a 3-year-old's Valentine card. He doesn't need anything fancy, I don't think. He'll probably just take the money or whatever's in there and run. So there we go, just a little bit like that. Now I have to fussy cut my little guy out. And it's not too hard. He doesn't take too long. You might have to be a little bit patient with me. But let me just take here real quick. Whoop, I missed a little corner here. And just go little border here, moving my paper, not my scissors. When the paper gets in the way, just trim it off and start with a little piece. It makes it a little bit easier. Go around the circle around the eyes is probably the hardest part. And I'm not going to go too low between his eyeballs. I'm going to just kind of loop it like that. Come around here, loop it again. We just have that heart. Not too bad, right? Now I'm going to put another little guy on the inside, but I'm not going to make you watch. You know how to stamp and color now, at least how I did it. So I'm going to do the same way on the inside, but I'll do that off camera and you won't have to watch. But there we go. Look how cute my little bug is. I think he's a snail. Then this one, I'm going to just take, and you know, I'm going to use a pair of long scissors so I get it straight. I'm going to just take and trim it just like this. There we go. And then trim the sides, maybe like this. And then turn it over and do it, nope, this way. Whew, almost cut it, no, this way. Don't cut it so it looks, there we go. Now it looks like that. We almost messed that up. Okay, let's go ahead and finish our card. Like I said, on the inside here, because this is the card front that we cut, right, that has the hearts on it. This is going to be the inside. I'm going to stamp those words that say a little something just for you. I think that's what it says. Yep, just a little something for you. And then of course I'll take and stamp that snail, and then I will color him later so you don't have to watch me do that again. Down here, just so it's fun on the inside. Okay, we'll put that on the inside of our card. This. And then on the front, we're going to take, and I'm going to take the Boho Blue outline, just take a few little glue dots here on the edge. And then set that down right there. Look straight. I ask that all the time, don't I? hopefully it's straight enough. And then put a little bit on this is the heart that we stamped the X's and O's on, because this is gonna fit exactly right in there too. And look how cute those layers are together. Then just a couple of dimensionals on my little guy. And I'm gonna use mini dimensionals because those aren't mini dimensionals. I'm gonna use mini dimensionals just because he's so small. Although now that I think about it, the kit dimensionals probably are small enough. We'll lay him right here. And then on this, we'll just take a couple more of those mini dimensionals, one on both ends, because we're gonna lay this right under our little snail so he doesn't look like he's floating around. He's actually standing on our little tag like that. And there you go, look how cute. So there, oh, one more thing, and this is, I almost forgot, I would have been so mad because I always forget something on the video. But look here, now we're gonna take, and I have googly eyes here, these are 4mm, but you know what, now that I think about it, I think I wanted the 5mm, and I'm looking around, trying to find, I have the wrong eyes. Here they are, okay. Stop and start again. We don't want the 4mm, we want the 5mm, and I have this tub, and I always open it the wrong way and eyes go flying. Whew, this time I didn't. So I need 2 of these little tiny eyeballs here. And as I was making my sample card the first time, I realized I've had this little tub of eyeballs for I don't know how long, although it doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like I've used that many, which I really have. But they have a backing. They're self-adhesive. Looky there, I've been gluing them on the whole time, but they're self-adhesive. Let's see if I can get that on there without my take. Nope, I have to use my take a pic tool to help me. But we're gonna take a little googly eye there. And try to get that back off. It was easy the first time. I made it look easy now. Okay, there we go. Got the other back off. Try to put this one on this little eye. There we go. Nope, stuck to my finger. There, stay on there, little eyeball. I must have a little bit of glue on my finger that he really, okay. Now both my eyeballs fell off. So they're not user friendly, what can I say? There we go. Let's see if I can pick him up. There we go. Still stuck to my finger. There, don't touch it again, Kathy, so he stays on the card. There, and he's got his little googly eyes there. Is that not adorable? That's a cute little card. So there's my cards from my Paper Pumpkin kit. Thanks for putting up with me. 4 cards. Wow, I actually made it, not normal. Here is the other Valentine from the kit, and the Valentine from the kit, and the Valentine from the kit. And then I use that extra card base to get rid of that glare. Oh, no, I guess it's not going to get rid of the glare today. There you go. Alrighty, thanks for hanging with me. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, be sure and let me know. If you're interested in Paper Pumpkin, you go to paperpumpkin.com. You can subscribe there. I'd love to be your demonstrator, or you can go to stampinup.com and just order an individual Paper Pumpkin. Like I said, if you have any questions, be sure and let me know. Hopefully my construction will be done soon, and I'll be back to my regular time, which is Mondays at 1:30. Fingers crossed, huh? But it's going to look so good when it's done. Alrighty, thank you everybody for watching and sticking with me, and I'll see you back here next week. Bye-bye.